All right. Good afternoon. It is Monday, July 14th at 6:06. This is the meeting of the Recreation and Parks Committee. I'm Mrs. Westfall, and Mrs. Marshall is to my left. Mr. Whitten is not here. We are here to provide a recommendation to Council regarding amending the deed restrictions for the sale of Brukner Park to the Troy Miami County Public Library, as recommended by the Board of Park Commissioners. Mr. Titterington, do you?
Yep. So you have a recommendation. We received a request from the library after we had really, honestly, negotiated language. We brought it back to you in August of last year, and August or September. Went to the Board of Park Commissioners with language that would revert the property back to the city and to the Park Board if they weren't using it for their intended purposes. And the intended purposes were, there were several of them: library, educational, as well as similar. They came back later and said, we really are concerned that the language is broad, that the city or the Park Board could trigger a reversion to us, and so they asked that the language be modified by the Council and the Park Board. The Park Board met last week, and we're willing to recommend, conditioned upon the law director, whether or not, making sure he was okay with the approved language. In the report, you see he does give you an interpretation. His advice regarding the legal effect of the change of the language. It was, as I mentioned, there was a reverter clause. With the new language, the reverter clause is taken out, and if there is some kind of egregious action by the library board, the city would be required to seek injunctive relief. He was, as you see in the memo, he was clear that, beyond that, beyond giving that advice, he really isn't going to get into the whether it's advisable or not, as to whether or not it's the Council amends it or not. So that's where he left it, and so that's what we have. I have not talked. I was off last week, so I did not personally talk to Mr. Kerber. Maybe council members did, but we're not requesting emergency. Whatever action you take, whichever version is signed by all parties, it needs to be executed by the end of the year, so we do have some time.
Okay. Question? So if they would use this for non-specified reason, then this land would not revert to the city, correct?
Not automatically, correct. What Grant is saying is, let's say instead of using it for, library or educational purposes or something related to what the library's goals and objectives are, then we would have to file something to court to stop them from doing something such as maybe selling it to a developer to put in, housing or some other use that maybe isn't part of our comprehensive plan or is not what and why we intended to sell it to them in the first place. So it would take us going to court and getting a judge to sign off on an injunction.
Okay.
So it would be much more involved and certainly not as clear-cut cut and dry as it is in the current form that council already passed.
Okay. Other council members? No.
Thank you. Todd Siebert, council member at large, Troy, Ohio. I know Mr. Kerber was not explicitly looking to give advice, but this is turning an apple into an orange. We had specific language about reversion for non-use. A restricted covenant is not a reversionary interest. I'm not trying to step on Grant's toes, but I think that's what he's trying to say in that paragraph that he sent. A reversionary interest is where the land comes back to us if it is not used for the explicit purpose that it was intended. That's what council voted on. That's what council approved. And I wasn't present. I don't know why the library is bringing this as a substitution, but I can tell you I would not support it. I think we need to stay firm on what the council recommendation was. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Schilling?
My question was, there was something reading, I didn't catch all this thing, but that we have the right to buy the land back at market rates. Is that part of the deal as well, or is that another?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's in, I think you're thinking of maybe other language somewhere else. I'm looking at ordinance 3124.
Okay.
And
I thought that was in our packet. Maybe I must have been dreaming that or something.
We've had it in other agreements not related to the library. I can't think of a specific one right now, but that's not unusual. What was approved in Ordinance 31 simply stated that the property shall be used for the use and purpose of promoting nonprofit, library, educational, extracurricular, and interscholastic activities and other uses incidental and related thereto, but for no other purposes whatsoever except as specifically provided herein. And in the case said premises shall cease to be used or occupied for such purposes, then said property will revert to and be vested in the city of Troy. Now, if the library ever changes locations or relocates their facility, they have agreed to provide the city with the right of first refusal to purchase the land at fair market value. That's different circumstances.
That's what I said. Okay, that's fine.
Anyone else?
If I may, thank you, ma'am. The question was particular to Mr. Kerber's comments. Was he indicating, though, that it should not be coming back to be titled to the city of Troy, but back to the park board?
I believe the property is park board, so it would come back to the reverter would just go back to the previous owner at that point, which would be the park board. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyone in the audience? Any comments? Questions? All right. Seeing none, then we have to make a decision. It seems to me that this isn't a good thing, and I would have to say, no, I don't want to do that.
I would agree. I want to leave it the way it is.
So, how do we state that?
We
want to leave it the same.
Negative recommendation.
Right.
Unanimous.
Right, and there would not be any legislation presented because you're not changing the existing ordinance.
Okay. All right. Anything further for the Recreation and Parks Committee? All right. And we're adjourned.